There is a kind of discipline that makes people uncomfortable, not because it is loud, but because it never breaks. You've seen this person. They wake up at the same hour. They move the same way. They do the same work every single day. While others stop after the first burst of motivation, they continue. While others negotiate with themselves, they execute. And eventually, people stop calling it dedication. They start calling it unnatural. What most don't realize is that this level of consistency is not talent. It is the result of an ancient system developed by Zen monks in Japan, designed to remove choice and replace it with inevitability. They called it Guji, the practice that sustains itself. Once you understand it, quitting will no longer be an option. But understand this first. This method is not comfortable. It will destroy the version of you that depends on excuses. And if you are not ready to let that version die, this is not for you. Before we begin, subscribe, like this video, and comment the one habit you want to build. It tells the algorithm and me that you are serious. Chapter 1. The Awakening. John was a man who lived in contrast to this ideal. A programmer with skill, intelligence, and potential, yet incapable of sustaining any habit. Meditation, reading, exercise, they all faltered after a few days. Each Monday began with enthusiasm. Each Wednesday brought negotiation. Each Friday, surrender. By Sunday, promises were made and broken in equal measure. John tried every conventional method, tracking apps, accountability partners, rewards, but nothing changed. The problem was not lack of effort, it was the architecture of his mind itself, untrained and chaotic, until he discovered the principle that allowed Zen monks to meditate for decades without fail. Chapter 2. The Secret of the Monks. At the heart of Zen practice is a principle known as Guji, continuous practice without interruption. For over 8 centuries, a bell has rung at the Ihai temple precisely at 3:30 a.m., and every day the monks rise. Not a minute early, not a minute late. No monk questions the necessity of the moment. The choice does not exist. This is because the commitment is no longer reversible. The monks do not promise, they embody. By declaring themselves meditators in front of the community, they shift their identity. Their minds no longer negotiate, the act becomes inevitable. Neuroscience confirms this phenomenon. Making a behavior public triggers our primitive brain to associate failure with a survival threat, echoing the tribal hierarchies of our ancestors. John, inspired by this, made his own declaration. He wrote, "I meditate for 20 minutes every day at 5 a.m. for 90 consecutive days." Signed it and made it known to everyone around him. Chapter 3. The Internal War. Even with this public declaration, the battle was far from over. Each morning, John's body resisted, craving sleep, comfort, and familiarity. The announcement had ended negotiation with others, but he still had to confront the negotiation within. Here, the monk's second principle, non-negotiable hours, became crucial. Every day, energy is wasted on deciding when to act. Choosing a fixed time eliminates this mental drain, allowing practice to become inevitable. John chose 5 a.m., not for beauty or comfort, but because the world was silent and distractions were minimal. The first week was agonizing, each morning a war between body and mind. By the second week, his body began to anticipate the ritual. By the 14th day, he moved before consciousness even engaged. The schedule became a constant, removing debate and hesitation from his practice. Chapter 4. The One Way. Fixing the when solved only half the problem. John's mind still sought variation in what he did. Push-ups one day, meditation the next, reading when convenient. Here, the principle of form, as taught by Dojin, became essential. Consistency is not found in novelty. It is forged through repetition. He locked his practice in place. 20 push-ups, 10 minutes of meditation,
10 minutes of reading in the same sequence every day. For 90 days, nothing deviated. Friends called him robotic, his partner found him rigid, but this rigidity was not limitation, it was liberation. By removing choice and variability, the practice became self-sustaining, no longer dependent on fleeting willpower. Chapter 5. Practice without gaps. Discipline is often misunderstood as perfection, but true mastery lies in continuity. Gaps are where old habits reclaim their hold. Elite practitioners rest strategically, not from laziness, but to maintain momentum. John encountered obstacles that would have ended his previous attempts: flu, travel, unforeseen responsibilities, but he adhered to the principle of pre-solution. Each potential disruption had a predetermined response: push-ups in an airport bathroom, meditation in a cab, reading on a plane. Every contingency was accounted for. The act continued regardless of circumstance until the sequence required no decision at all. Titian had trained his body, his mind, and his identity to align seamlessly with his practice. Chapter 6. Pre-solutions. The genius of the Guji system lies in anticipation. Life is unpredictable. Decisions made in chaos are often those that undo our best intentions. Zen monasteries survive centuries of calamity without missing a single day because responses are pre-decided. The bell rings and action follows automatically, whether hall, courtyard, or hall in ruins. John adopted this principle for modern life, mapping obstacles and scripting responses. The certainty of action freed his mind from debate, conserving willpower for execution. The practice became not just habit, but a framework of being, a structure impervious to circumstance. By the 70th day, the practice had become automatic. John moved through the sequence without conscious thought. Even disruptions, the presence of guests, a changed schedule could not deter him. 90th day, the ritual was complete, yet the transformation extended beyond action. He was no longer a man who tried, he was a man defined by continuity. Observers remarked on his unsettling consistency. What they called obsession, he recognized as the embodiment of identity. Discipline was no longer effort, it was nature. He had become unshakable, not because he had conquered temptation, but because he had transcended it. Consistency that inspires discomfort is the mark of someone who has crossed the threshold from intention to identity. The Guji system does not offer improvement, it offers rebirth. It strips away the inconsistent self and replaces it with an unbreakable self. The path demands more than effort, it demands surrender, repetition, and the courage to be unwavering. When discipline becomes identity, the question of failure no longer exists. One does not act to achieve, one acts because one is. The presence that once inspired fear now emanates naturally, and the world takes notice not because of effort, but because it is impossible to imagine this person acting otherwise. This is the essence of Guji, practice that perpetuates itself. The journey is not toward perfection, but toward continuity. It is not a habit, but a transformation of the self. And when you have embraced it fully, when you move without hesitation, when your consistency becomes frightening to others, you will have discovered the deepest principle of the warrior, the philosopher, and the monk, that mastery is not learned, it is lived.